Hey everybody, Drew here for Drew.Underground, back with Bench Clearing Brouhaha, episode 5. Fuck. Why did I say 15?
I don't know.
Well, regardless of any of that, by the sound of uh, Rob's voice, you guys obviously know my brother Rob's here. Hey, bro.
It is.
So, week 12 is finally in the books at long last. The week of Thanksgiving's games and whatnot. Any thoughts before we look at the scores and everything coming out of week 12 here?
Well, really just that a couple of surprises. Not every game went the way I thought it would, that's for sure.
Yeah. I already went into a blood rage on Breaking Rocks over one thought, the Thanksgiving night Vikings Patriots game, and the one call, hence is the thumbnail for this stream. The touchdown that the NFL referees think it isn't a touchdown based on a rule that's not in the rule book since 2018. And they're still acting like it's still on the rule book for 2022, proving that they don't read the modern rule book. They're still using one from like 4 or 5 years ago. So, proving what I've said the entire time about the NFL prohibiting referees from reading the modern fucking rule book to do their fucking job. But I digress.
Yep.
Beyond that, this is arguably the dumbest fucking NFL season that I've ever seen. Between that fucking call on Thursday night between the Patriots and Vikings, by the way, that was a one-score game, 7-point game. Because if that touchdown had counted, guess what? Would have gone overtime on Thanksgiving night. And who knows who would have won the game at that point in overtime.
Yeah.
I still think the Vikings might have still won it, but who the fuck knows?
So that game right there, the Vikings versus Patriots, was basically the last chance for the Vikings to prove that they aren't lower than I thought they were in ability.
And they needed they needed the referees to beat the fucking Patriots. So yeah, the Vikings are not gonna be going to the fucking Super Bowl. I'd be fucking surprised at this point. Would I love to see the Vikings win the Super Bowl? My last NFL season of living in Minnesota? You're goddamn right I would. But it ain't gonna fucking happen.
Yeah. It's really questionable. If they barely can beat the Patriots, then they're gonna have trouble in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So with that in mind, speaking of trouble, the Bills beat the Lions 28-25 on the first Thanksgiving Day game. The Bills had trouble with the Lions.
Yeah, that's really illustrating
in a season where the Vikings have turned into the Packers. Okay, hear me out. Yeah. The Lions have turned into the Vikings, the Packers have turned into the Lions, and the Bears are still the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. Yeah, the Packers.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in the NFC North anymore, other than at least I know the Chicago Bears are who I thought they were, the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, they sucked for a long time.
Ha. That's a quote from Dennis Green, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals at the time when they lost to the Chicago Bears because Devin Hester returned a couple of kick return touchdowns. Anyway.
Yeah, the Bills definitely have some serious questions to answer after that.
Yeah.
That game should not have been close. And it was definitely close.
Quite.
And then you have the Giants-Cowboys game.
Yeah, 20-20 win for the Cowboys. I was expecting it to be somewhat close. So, And I was expecting the Cowboys to hopefully win. At least I think I predicted them. I don't remember.
Sure, I think we had both said that the Cowboys were on enough of a roll.
And I believe we both had the Bills winning, right?
Yeah, we did. But not by 3 points.
Yeah.
That's a little nail biter.
And then the controversial Vikings-Patriots game, 33-26. That we just ranted on Sunday on Breaking Rocks. And now to kick this stream off, I've already said enough about this bullshit. Any other thoughts on the Vikings-Patriots game that we haven't said already in 2 streams now?
No, it's the same issue. It's the Vikings barely hanging on to their elite status. And
because of the fucking referees in this case.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the referees were supposed to help Tom Brady.
Well, apparently Kirk Cousins is the new Tom Brady.
And obviously NFL officials have always hated the Patriots. Yeah. And the Raiders, but still.
Yeah, they're just trying to make up for a lot of bad calls that helped Tom in the past by making bad calls that hurt them now.
Except for Tom's not there, and they've always hurt the fucking Patriots. They've just helped Tom in whatever way they could, even when he was a Patriot. Anyway. But speaking of hurting beyond all help, the Broncos lose to the Panthers 23-10.
Yeah, that one was no surprise at all.
Yeah.
The Panthers' defense has been really great, and the Broncos could not get anything done on offense. Well, pretty much all year.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I had the Patriots winning, and you had the Vikings, right?
Sure, yeah. No, I said this would be a vital test, and I thought the Vikings have to win the game. So.
Or did we both have the Vikings? I don't remember.
Well, we might have both had them, but I definitely have gone with the Vikings.
I'm fairly certain we both had the Panthers beating the Broncos, which they did. I think you and I were split on this next matchup. The Browns beat the Buccaneers 23-17. The week before, who comes back and starts for the Browns? Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Dolphins were expected to kick the Texans' asses, and they definitely did.
The Browns and Buccaneers were at, dude.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Browns Buccaneers. Yeah, that was going to be a tight game. It was just a matter of whether the Buccaneers were going to fail.
And they did.
Yeah, they did.
Speaking of failing by 1 point, the Ravens lose to the Jaguars 28-27.
That was actually a really good game.
I'm fairly certain that I had the Ravens winning. Right?
Yeah. We kind of both expected the Ravens to pull it off. And they didn't.
Yeah.
But really, really could have gone either way. It looks close on paper, and it was close.
Yeah, and the next game wasn't close. You were talking about it earlier. The Dolphins beat the Texans 30-15.
The Dolphins-Texans game, we were expecting the Dolphins to kick the Texans' asses, and they did.
Yeah.
It was actually a worse-looking game than the stat sheet shows.
Yeah.
So.
And then the Jets start a new game named Mike White or something at quarterback, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then beat the Bears 31-10.
Yeah, that was all Garrett.
A real test for this Mike White guy would be anyone but the Bears at this point.
Yeah. Well, this is a testament to the Jets defense.
Yeah,
so this game right here is a testament to the Jets defense. We'll
see what the Jets do against whoever next week with their new starting quarterback that they replaced the MILF fucker Wilson with, which is Mike White. Speaking of, I don't know a good segue to go to this, but Bengals beat the Titans 2016. So Kitty went per.
The only surprise here is that the Bengals didn't get more points. Kind of surprising because the Bengals have gotten a lot more points against easier defenses or against harder defenses. Right? Titans defense is not like, they're not top 5, but somehow this was a close game anyway.
Speaking of close games and two teams that struggle at times, the Commies beat the Falcons 19-13.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was actually a little bit of a back and forth.
Yeah.
I think I had picked the Falcons just because I kind of was hoping.
But, I was.
Their defense continues.
Believe I picked the Commanders because I have no faith in the Falcons at all. Mm-hmm. Even though I would have loved to see the Commies lose to the Falcons because I hate the fucking Washington team.
It's really strange too how the Commanders have woke up in the second half of the season. They were terrible in the first half, but now they keep winning.
Yeah, they're on the verge of getting a playoff spot. It's just surprising.
Yeah, I don't get it. But
excuse
whatever.
me. Speaking of close games, Chargers beat the Cardinals 25-24.
Yes, that would right there is my pick of the game of the week right there. That was the best game to have watched, if you ask me.
Or you could pick the game after that. The Raiders beat the Seahawks 40-34. Now their defense showed up.
The problem I have with that, though, is that was like the barn burner beyond recognition.
Yeah.
That if you like points, I guess, if you like offenses just going wild, sure.
Well,
if you like to see both sides of the ball doing something.
I did genuinely like Gino's performance, who was starting for me in fantasy, so there's that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and again, it was a fantasy, bonanza of points for offensive players.
Yes, it was.
But it was not good football, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They weren't stopping anything.
Speaking of not good football, we're back to that.
By the way, before we move on from that, it's worth noting Josh Jacobs' performance.
Yeah, he did really good.
Holy crap. He got just over 300 all-purpose yards and cemented himself now as the lead running back in fantasy of the year after that game. He got 229 rushing yards and 70 receiving yards. And so he blew the doors off against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Totally unexpected because he had been struggling a bit in the previous weeks. But now he just totally went all Jamal Charles on everybody.
So when speaking of doors, here's a team that lost their doors week 2. The LA Rams lose to the Chiefs 26-10.
The Chiefs just do what they do best, and the Rams had no chance because the Rams are a mess.
Yeah. Speaking of a mess, in this one, the 49ers beat the Saints 13-0.
Yeah, I think I may have said that if the 49ers, the old last year 49ers showed up, they could beat the Saints. Didn't even need to be the last year 49ers. This year's 49ers showed up, and they still beat the Saints.
Yeah, because the Saints didn't show up at all.
There was no Saints achieving anything this game. Even the kicker was negative in fantasy.
Speaking of showing up, which I'm surprised the Packers did, but the Packers still lose 40-33 to the Eagles.
Sure, this is a barn burner that you would not have expected. The Eagles' defense is in real trouble.
And on the
Eagles' defense is in serious question.
And on that side of the coin with the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is hurt.
Yeah.
A rib thing or a torso injury, along with his fucking thumb that he's been playing through. That apparently he needs surgery for his thumb. but he's been putting it off throughout the season, trying to play through it. Here's an idea, Aaron. Just get the fucking surgery. Let the Packers figure out what the hell they have in Jordan fucking Love at this point, because you guys aren't going to the fucking playoffs this year. Sit down. Anyway.
Yeah, like, he has to care about his health at some point.
And the well-being and the future of the team. Because let's face it, the sunset is here, Aaron, and the sunrise and the sunrise of the Love era is looming.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's what I have to say about the game, though, Eagles versus Packers game. It's really shocking how much points the Eagles defense gave up.
Yeah, I watched the second half of it, and I came in right around the time that Love was taking the field. I'm like, wait, where the fuck's Aaron?
After watching the Commanders run over the Eagles defense, and then watching the Packers run over the Eagles defense, I have to take back what I said before. The Eagles defense is not, right now, they are not top 10. They're middle of the pack in defenses in the league right now. They're not doing well.
Indeed.
And this is not the kind of Eagles defense that's going to win a championship. These guys have serious playoff questions now. If they can barely beat the Packers and barely beat the Commanders, they're not going to win anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, so the NFC title game is wide open for whoever the fuck wants it, which means could the Vikings go there and play there? Absolutely at this point. And if it is wind up being the Eagles versus the Vikings, who the fuck knows what's going to happen between those two for the NFC title game at that point?
Really just a matter of who can mess up less.
Which
both teams have been messing up lately.
Which if it's the Eagles versus the Vikings for the NFC Championship, then the Vikings could wind up going to Super Bowl. Doesn't mean they're going to fucking win it, because they've choked every Super Bowl they've ever been in. They choked every last one of them away. So it doesn't matter who the Vikings play. If they play the Chiefs, they're not winning that.
No, they won't beat the Chiefs. No.
They didn't last time they had to deal with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl at that point. But the Monday night game we still have, and the Steelers somehow beat the Colts 24-17.
Yeah, it's just a shame. The Colts are trying really hard, and they've turned things around a bit.
And
the Steelers' offense showed up, and what are you going to do?
And I slept all the way through this game. I didn't even see it, so.
Yeah, the Steelers really just kind of took advantage of the Colts not having a complete team this year on defense, especially.
Yeah.
So it's surprising, I guess, or not. It's not surprising. That's the wrong word.
Yeah.
I was hopeful that the Colts could pull it off, but they didn't. So that's all it is.
Yeah. So before we get to Week 13's matchups and go through our predictions and everything for that, Christian Watson have a waiver claim out for fantasy and true football. That's it this week. So. Anything you're doing in fantasy that means anything?
No, what was that again?
I said that I have a waiver out to try to pick up Christian Watson from the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to drop Keenan Allen for him.
Yeah, well, I mean.
So we'll see what happens.
Keenan struggled.
Yeah. And Christian is turning out to be the top receiver in performance for the Packers at this point.
Yeah, especially after that game. Holy crap.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm looking to start Deshaun Watson this week because he's going to be playing in Week 13. So we'll see we'll see how well he can beat up an NFL franchise, huh?
Hopefully, I guess. Yep.
Yeah. So, on that note, Thursday Night Football. Bills go to Foxborough to play the Patriots.
Yeah, this game right here, if you had asked me about this matchup at the beginning of the year, I would have said this was a Bills hands down. But I don't think that anymore.
I think the
Patriots could actually win this game.
I think the Bills are going to win because the refs are going to fuck over the Patriots again.
Well, there is that, but
so I'm picking the Bills.
I'm picking the Patriots because I think the Bills have been struggling against everybody.
So you think the referees are actually going to figure out that they read the wrong rule book?
The Patriots almost just beat the Vikings. Of course they could beat the Bills.
Well, I'm not saying they can't beat the Bills. I'm just saying I anticipate fuck-uppery from the refs again. Because it's the Patriots playing at home. Anyway.
I'm still going to go with the Patriots. I just think that the Patriots have been doing well enough and the Bills have been struggling enough to where it could happen. And then everybody will be like, oh my God, it's shocking. But I'll just be like, no, it isn't. Not with the way the Bills have been playing lately.
However, the first Sunday game, I have no idea who to fucking pick here. The Steelers go to Atlanta to play the Falcons.
Yeah, these two teams have both struggled. But I guess the Steelers have found their offense in the last few games. So I don't know. It could be a Steelers win. I think I might have to go with the Steelers on that game.
I think I'm going to go with the Steelers, too. I'm going to agree with you. However, this should be pretty cut and dry. The Broncos go to Baltimore to play the Ravens. I got the Ravens. At least I think I do.
I would expect the Ravens to pretty much kick the shit out of the Broncos in that game.
Who do you got in this fuck-uppery of a game? The Packers go to Chicago and play the Bears.
Without Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be a very hard game to watch because the Packers I don't know what they could do.
We know that Aaron Rodgers has said on social media and on the Pat McAfee show, I think it was on the Pat McAfee show because he's on there all the time. But he has recently said through whatever sources that he fully intends to play on Sunday. God, I fucking hope not.
Well, let me just put it this way. Conditionally, if Aaron Rodgers plays, the Packers could beat the Bears easily. But if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, then I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
This is my expectation. If Aaron Rodgers plays, the Bears defenders are going to fucking kill him.
Well, yeah, there is that. He'll probably get re-injured.
So, if Aaron Rodgers starts and plays, Aaron Rodgers is going to die. Not that I want that, but he's going to get carried off the fucking field. And rightly so at that point with his health issues at this point. And the Bears are going to wind up beating the Packers. Now, if Jordan Love starts the whole game, have fun trying to strategize around a guy that no one has really ever seen play outside of one or two snaps here and there. Therefore, I see the Packers winning with Love starting.
Yeah, and that's the only way that the Bears. I mean, you could say the Packers will probably win either way, but Love playing is the only way the Bears win.
Yeah. So
that's the only pathway.
So to recap, if Aaron starts, my pick is the Bears win. If Love is starting, my pick is the Packers to beat the Bears.
Well, I think I'm going to go with Packers either way.
That's fair.
Because I think the Bears have been struggling against easy defenses.
But the Bears have a great running game, and the Packers don't have a run defense at all. So
sure. So
there's that.
The Bears should be able to pull this off.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that they can anymore. They've been losing to everybody.
Well, not quite. They have won 3 games.
Okay, fair enough. They won 3 games.
They've won more games than the Texans.
Yeah. Well, the Texans are probably the worst team in the league right now.
And they've won this and they've won the same amount of games as the Broncos, as it turns out, too. Anyway,
who completely suck.
But here's 2 teams that are 4-7 up next. The Jaguars go to Detroit to play the Lions. I guess I got
this is a tough one.
Coin flip, but I was going to say Jaguars, but now after thinking about it, I think I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the Lions' offense these last few games, but they've been putting up 20-plus points in each game, if not 30-plus. And I just don't know if the Jags can handle their off, keeping up.
I just saw who the Browns are playing because that's up next that we got to talk about. Oh, that poor fucking team against Deshaun Watson.
Well,
the Cleveland Browns go to Houston to play the Texans, his former team.
Yeah, the Browns have had their ups and downs, basically. Some games they've, won the game handedly. Other times they've lost disappointingly. I kind of wonder who's had a rougher emotional season, the Browns or the Raiders. But
the Texans.
If Deshaun is playing, if Deshaun is playing, okay,
and that's according to all reports he is. So
then the Browns are going to
annihilate the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, with a quarterback who knows the playbook, basically, and the Texans struggling all year anyway, I don't see how the Browns lose that game. I really don't.
In other words, the joke I made earlier, let's see in Week 13 what team Deshaun Watson is going to smack the shit out of. His former team.
Yeah, it's almost like serendipity.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can pretty much. I mean, even if he doesn't start, they're still going to get the shit kicked out of him. The Browns are probably still going to win handedly.
Do you remember previously when I was talking about how that Mike guy, the quarterback for the Jets, needs a real test to prove that he is like the actual starter for the Jets? Well, here's his test. The Jets go to Minneapolis to play the Vikings.
Sure, and this isn't just a test for the new Jets quarterback. It's also a test of Jets defense and a test of the Vikings offense.
Yes.
Another test. Their first test was against the Cowboys. They failed miserably.
So, the Vikings are overdue for another loss, so I'm going to go with the Jets here.
Here's basic. I'm going to have basically a solid. I already have a semi-solid verdict on the Vikings right now.
Yeah.
And I think that they are going to struggle mightily in the playoffs. If they lose to the Jets, then it's solid. It's solid in my mind. They will not be going deep into the playoffs if they can't beat the Jets.
So to recap, you got the Vikings winning this, right? Against the Jets?
They should, yes.
And
if they lose to the Jets, then that's an upset.
And I got the Jets winning it because the Vikings are overdue to lose again. Because they're 9-2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. However, this is an intriguing matchup. This is NFC East matchup. The Commies go to New Jersey to play the Giants. And as much as I hate this, I got the Commies in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because the Giants have struggled in the last few games.
Yeah.
They kind of have a one-dimensional offense, so it's really easy for teams to just block.
Yeah.
Like run block, and basically you can shut them down. But it should be a fair game. I mean, assuming the Commanders' offense is insane one more time, the Giants should have a chance. Yeah, unfortunately, though, with what the Commanders have already done to the Eagles and to, half a dozen other teams now,
yeah,
it's difficult to say the Giants will actually win this. I think the Commanders will win this.
Yeah.
I think they will.
So we both got the Commies in that one. The next matchup, do you remember going into the week that the Eagles played the Washington Commies and the Commies beat them? Going into that week, my prediction, looking ahead, was I don't see anyone being able to beat the Eagles until week 13. That's this week, by the way. Because up next is the Titans going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. I figure.
Well, see, this one is different, I think.
Yeah.
Because while the Eagles' defense is the middle of the road defense now,
they
started out hot as all hell.
Yeah.
Now they're kind of in the middle. I still think the Eagles' offense is who's going to win that game. Eagles versus Titans. I think Eagles offense is where the win can come.
I agree, and the pressure isn't on the Eagles to be perfect because they're not. So I think the Eagles are going to beat the Titans now.
Yeah, on offense for sure.
But I stand by what I said at the time. If the Eagles had been undefeated getting to this point, I think the Titans would have been the one to do it. But that's no longer a thing here. So
yeah.
And then obviously the Seahawks are going to beat the LA Rams.
Sure. I mean, if the Seahawks lose to the Rams, I don't know what's heads or tails anymore. Seahawks offense has been hot all year, almost every game, and the Rams have been tripping and falling all over everything. They don't have, anything going for them right now, pretty much.
And
they're a shell of their former self.
Yeah. And when we were reviewing the Niners from the week 12 matchup, you said that the Niners had to be the old Niners to beat the Saints. It was right.
Mm-hmm.
And they won 13-0.
If the old Niners show up, they'll definitely win.
Well, this week
if the new Niners show up, they might lose.
This week, the old Niners have to show up in Santa Clara because the Dolphins are coming to town.
Yeah, and the Dolphins with Tua, they always put up 30.
Yeah.
And so Niners might not be able to handle that.
So I got the Dolphins in this one, but I would not be surprised to see the. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Niners win either.
This could be a barn burner game. We'll see. I mean, sometimes the Niners put up a bunch of points, sometimes they don't. And the Dolphins seem to always put up a bunch of points with Tua.
Yeah.
So, I just think the Dolphins' offense is just like what we said about the Eagles game. Just like that. The Dolphins' offense is going to overwhelm the Niners.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell.
Speaking of barn burners, the Chiefs go to Cincinnati to play the Bengals this week.
Yeah, that game could be a real barn burner because you're going to get 25 or 30 points out of the Chiefs.
You have two legit franchise quarterbacks, one team that has a legit elite receiving core when they're all healthy. In the case of the Bengals, you have the Bengals with a legit franchise running back, and then you have a receiving core who is doing great things for the Chiefs. Don't remember any of their fucking names at this point. Because the top guy went off to Miami from Kansas City. But the running backs are doing decently in Kansas City too. This could be the star-making performance that some of the Chiefs need to actually become household names at this point, perhaps.
Sure, and if the Chiefs can beat the Bengals on offense, especially on offense, because we know they can on defense, but if they can beat them on offense, then the Chiefs could go deep into the playoffs. Because a lot of teams have struggled to stop the Bengals.
Well, a lot of people are still saying Chiefs are the favorite to win the Super Bowl at this point, and I don't disagree at the moment.
Sure, they'll definitely be making the playoffs, and they'll definitely be going deep. Just a matter of whether they, are the guys again this year.
We'll see.
It's very possible.
Two teams that are arguably not the guys. The Chargers head to Vegas to play the Raiders. I'm thinking I got the Raiders in this one.
Yeah, the Chargers played valiantly in their last game.
Yeah.
And I do think that was the game of the week, the Chargers versus Cardinals. That was the game of the week.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. But if the Raiders of this past week, who scored 40, show up again against the Chargers, the Chargers are in deep shit. Because they're not going to be able to overwhelm that amount of offense.
Yeah.
If the Raiders that just played show up again, Josh Jacobs and those guys putting up, 40 points again, then the Chargers will just lose. So this one could go either way, but yeah, I got to give the edge to the Raiders because their offense woke up.
Yeah.
Whatever they did last week, they got to do it again. If they do that, they'll win.
Yeah. However, not waking up is going to be the Colts when they go to Dallas to play the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Especially when their acting head coach, Jeff Saturday, doesn't know what timeouts are.
Yeah. unfortunately, if the Cowboys can kick the crap out of the Vikings, they can definitely kick
the crap out of the Colts. And might I add, the Colts-Cowboys game is the Sunday night game.
Sure, yeah. Let's just put it this way. If the Colts beat the Cowboys, then that's probably the absolute underdog game of the year for sure.
Yeah, so we both obviously have the Cowboys winning that one.
Yeah, they're a heavy favorite.
And then Monday night, the Saints go to Tampa Bay and play the Buccaneers. I have no idea who to fucking pick on this one.
Yeah, the Buccaneers have struggled, and so have the Saints. The Saints have struggled mightily. Like, I guess I'd have to go with the Buccaneers, but only because they've screwed up less.
Yeah, the Bucs are 5-6, the Saints are 4-8, and the Saints are coming off of a scoreless game that they just put up.
Yeah, a painful one.
So, are the Saints going to score any points against the Bucs? We'll see on Monday night. So, Sunday night and Monday night, on paper, look like they could be just absolute, just sleep through the games. Don't even bother watching for the primetime games in Week 13.
Well, the Colts-Cowboys game has the potential to be really exciting and unbelievable, but I doubt it.
And then
the Saints-Buccaneers game is due to be really a bunch of drudgery.
But
I don't really want to watch that game.
But Thursday night, Bills-Patriots, that is worth watching, though.
Sure, yeah, that could be the game of the week.
And in more ways than one, two teams that arguably could compete with each other. But for me, it's how are the referees going to fuck this one up? Worth watching.
Yeah.
To report on at that point. And then, as we always do, the Thursday night game for Week 14, Raiders go to LA to play the Rams. I got the Raiders in that one.
Yeah, I have to right now also because the Raiders' offense is again, stellar, and the Rams are just a complete wreck. The Rams are like the Hindenburg 2 hours after a crash. I mean, they're just a smoldering wreck.
Yeah. In the following week here, the Vikings go to Detroit to play the Lions. That's going to be interesting. We'll see if the Lions are real or not at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dear. Sunday night, Chiefs go to Denver to literally murder the Broncos at Mile High. Oh, God.
Yeah, it'll be over in the first quarter, probably, in that game.
The first minute, I think. Oh, God, that's going to be terrible.
I mean, considering that the Broncos don't seem to get more than about 14 points in any game they've scored in any game the last 8 weeks, then I don't see how they compete with 25 to 30 that the Chiefs always put up every week.
And on our sister's birthday, the Monday night game, the Patriots and the Cardinals in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. That one, with what I've seen,
do you think Kyler's going to be healthy for that one to play?
Well, it's possible. What I don't think is possible is for Cardinals to pull W on that.
If Kyler's healthy, the chances go up a bit for the Cardinals to beat the Patriots in Phoenix. If Kyler's not there, there's no chance. The Patriots will win that game going away from the stadium.
Yeah, and then if the Patriots do indeed beat the Cardinals in that game, then the Patriots will basically have put themselves in a position
to be in the playoffs, yeah.
Be well into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are already basically out with the way their records go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of sad.
Quite. But anyway. So, any last minute thoughts going into Week 13 that we didn't mention before that you might be concerned about or not really, or whatever.
It's just a question of I don't really know who the top team in the league is anymore.
I don't think any of the NFL teams do.
I've lost. Well,
I guess it's the Kansas City Chiefs by default, right?
Yeah, I mean, really falling off.
And I guess for the NFC, I guess technically it's a draw just based on record between the Eagles and, well, I guess technically it's the Eagles because they won 10 games already, so technically it should be them. Based on record. But I know that according to reports that if the Vikings win this upcoming week and if the Lions win, then the Vikings clinch the division already.
Mm-hmm.
Or something along those lines. I think it's probably more accurate. The Vikings win and the Lions lose, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be weird if the Vikings won and won, then how do the Vikings win the division then? Because they're the same division. But it's also kind of funny that for the first time the Packers don't factor in what happens to the Vikings winning the division at all this time.
Yeah, they do not matter.
So even if the Packers win, big deal, the Vikings still win the division, regardless of what the Packers and Bears do. Hence why the Bears are the Bears and the Packers turn into the Lions. Although technically, I guess you could make an argument that the Bears have turned into the Lions, the Packers have turned into the Bears, the Lions have turned into the Vikings, and the Vikings have turned into the Packers.
Yeah.
Which is even more confusing because what was the team blanket that I've been yelling at for the past several weeks before I changed up my background and moved a bunch of shit around and took the Bears blanket down? Have I been yelling at the Detroit Lions by mistake the entire time? I don't know.
Well, Detroit Lion defense, whereas the Bears have been screwing up pretty much universally.
Yeah.
Maybe two examples.
The reason I say is because usually the are always in last place.
The game where they decided, they decided to go for two instead of tie the game, and they lost. At that point, I said, I'm done with this team. There's no way this team even makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let alone even matters to make. They're a mess. And then their quarterback started getting more rushing yards than the running game. Than their running backs. They have no wide receivers to talk about. The defense is mediocre, and that's on a good day. The Bears are a mess. And they didn't start in a good position to begin with. Unlike the Rams, where the Rams started out riding high and now they're a smoldering wreck. The Bears didn't start out riding high. The Bears started out in the doldrums to begin with.
They started out in their picnic basket.
They've only had a couple of glimmers of excellence, and it hasn't amounted to much.
I guess there's a snowstorm coming. That was what the beeping on my phone was, anyway. But but if you guys noticed in the background, for those of you that will be watching this after the fact, I did change a few things. I changed my shit too. Anyway, but I changed a few things out. Took the Bears things down. I put the Skyrim blanket over on the wall where all this shit was. And then I wanted some different stuff in the background because I got sick of the Bears blanket being here. So We got Night City map for Cyberpunk up here. The map for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunts region. Cyrodiil from Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. We the People. Skyrim map. The perk poster for Fallout 4, and the friend moving holographic Spider-Man here too. So now I can talk to Spider-Man instead and go, "You're an idiot." Anyway, instead of talking to the Bears, I can talk to Spider-Man now on streams. Yes, I was talking about you. Shut up. Anyway. Which is actually more fun than going, quit laughing. You lost to the Cowboys, even though the Bears thing isn't there anymore. Now I can just go, shut up. Oh, fine. Go fuck MJ. I don't care. Type of thing.
So the only thing other than that I would say is that I'm surprised at how competitive the fantasy leagues I'm in have been this year.
Yeah.
It's been way more competitive this year than it was in previous years. Most of the leaders of the leagues are only up by about a game.
I'm
6-game leads.
Yeah, in true football, I'm currently tied with the one behind me in my division in record.
Yeah.
But I am the second best in the league according to the standings, right behind your ass. Who's already at 10 wins, just like the fucking Eagles. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I've gotten,
You're the Eagles of true football. I don't like you anymore.
I've stacked up a lot of points. That's as simple as that. If you want to be at the top, you gotta top things off.
You're the British Empire of true football. Anyway.
Well, I score over 220 points every week on average.
Yeah.
And with that kind of scoring going on, I'm gonna be top of the league with that. 200 was always the line for winning games. Over 200, you'll make the playoffs. If you're not, you won't.
All I care about is just trying to maintain the first round bye at this point. I don't care about taking the top spot because I know I ain't taking that from you. Nobody is at this point. You and your fucking Patrick Mahomes shit.
Well, Patrick wasn't even the decision maker last week. It was Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs scored 97, whereas Mahomes only scored 79.
According to the award in True Football, you got the award for starting both Mahomes and him. So go fuck yourself.
Yeah, they tandem for more than most other entire teams scored.
Yes, I saw that. And I don't remember what happened in No Bench, and I don't give a shit at this point. But either way, fantasy football is fun to do. We do tend to get a little competitive at times, but then again, when do we not do that?
On the bright side, your team is pretty much going to be in the playoffs. It's just really the way the other teams are falling off at this point.
Yeah. Because I'm actually trying to put forth an effort of trying to have people that actually do shit.
Yeah.
Hence why I don't have Rodgers anymore. The two quarterbacks I started the year with aren't even on my team, Carr and Rodgers. At this point. I almost I did drop Fields for Rodgers. Then I saw reports that Watson's suspension was coming up or ending going into week 13. And I'm like, well, I already got Geno Smith, and I don't have to do anything with Watson until after suspension. So fine, I so drop Rodgers for Watson then. Whatever. In the hope that Deshaun Watson is actually puts up more points in his pinky finger than any other quarterback in the entire league throughout the entire season. That's the hope, at least.
Yeah.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, when he was with the Texans, he was easily in the top 8 fantasy quarterbacks each year, right?
Oh yeah. He was what we would call elite. Yes.
So that's what I need, and if he turns out to be that, hopefully he doesn't get in trouble and get suspended again, so I can keep him. At that point,
well, he definitely did well in fantasy. As soon as he found his feet, he was doing great.
Yeah. Well,
and he is only the second person to be traded for 3 first round picks. It's only happened twice.
Who was he? Who was the other person?
Herschel Walker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
and the Vikings were the ones dumb enough to give up those picks for him.
Well, it wasn't that stupid.
Well, it wasn't that great either.
But the Vikings have been bad.
Because look what the Cowboys wound up doing with the picks. They built a dynasty.
Sure. Yeah.
But speaking of Herschel, well, actually, no, we shouldn't do that. Then, unless we're doing breaking rocks, because I think you know where I was going with his name there at that point.
Yeah, we'll leave that to the side. But
yeah, I almost forgot where we were and what the hell we were wrapping up. So
yeah.
On that note, what are you going to be up to after this?
Well, coming to the end of my evening here.
Yeah, well, I got up what time is it, 5? About 22 hours ago. Because I had to be at work at 3:30 in the morning, so.
Yeah, so you definitely need to get some rest, bro.
Well, I'm hungry, first and foremost, more so than I'm tired at the moment. So I'm going to eat, probably watch something on YouTube, or probably boot up Madden for a little bit. And because in Madden, I'm the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans in the current NFL season. And it's week 18 right now, so it's the final week of the season for me, and I'm trying to get the Texans their 8th win of the season because we've lost 9 games. We aren't that good. But at least in my little universe, the Houston Texans are better with me. Better than 1 win. We're 1 win away from 8 wins.
Yep.
Even though I've thrown nearly 20 interceptions, but I think I'm at 29 touchdowns though, so. But either way. That's Madden, and that doesn't mean anything anyway, so. As it is, yeah, I'm going to eat. Probably do that YouTube stuff for a bit. I need to clean that TV screen. Sorry, I just saw a bunch of spots. I'm like, shit, I gotta clean that. And then, after I eat, watch stuff, I'll lay down, then I'll clean that when I get up. Anyway, thank you to you guys for those of you who will watch the replay of this later. Thank you guys so much. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share this out. Even though this obviously is landing like a dud, like a shit stain on the wall. No one really cares that we do this. Which is why next year we're probably not going to waste our time with this.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, at least I'm not planning on doing
this next year. It's always been for posterity anyway, bro. So.
What's that?
It's always been for posterity anyway, bro.
Mm.
Certainly not doing it for the viewers.
Well, obviously, there's none. Shut up. Yeah, that's my other phone. Because I was going off with something. Yes, I talked to electronic devices. Like I talked to Spider-Man here now. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Like, subscribe, share this out. Not that it matters at this point, because no one gives a shit. We talk about football at this point. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, for Breaking Rocks. Go check out Drew at Underground Gaming for my past Twitch streams that I re-upload there, like when I play Skyrim or when I get into other games that I'm going to be playing again soon. Also, coming over from Twitch tomorrow at some point. What the hell did I play? It's WWE 2K20, in which I brought Mara Jade, Minority Home, D-Day Cobra, and my alter ego of Dr. What's Up to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Krista Nova from Geeks and Gamers as well. So in 2K22, in my universe mode, we had a Geeks and Gamers invasion, in which Krista Nova in 2K22 is now the AEW Women's World Champion. Think about that for a minute, bro.
Yep, that's kind of cool.
Krista Nova is now a champion in my universe. And Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers is now the Pure Ring of Honor champion. Yeah, Jeremy Pure. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
And Steph and Mara are now a tag team called Talk Nerdy, just like they do on their YouTube channel. So sometimes things make sense. When you have someone who knows how to write shit, Lucasfilm. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Before I say anything that I don't want to say on the sports stream.
Yeah. We'll see you guys.
Good night, guys. And I don't want to say may the force be with you, because that's something else entirely. How should we on the sports ones?
You usually say welcome to the resistance, but
welcome to the underground.
Yeah.
Also, welcome to the rebellion, but I'm not seeing that. I'm not wearing that shirt. Fuck. I'm not seeing that shirt either. That shirt and I are not dating. Oh, dear. Clip that, Internet. I dare you. Good night, guys.
Night.